Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bedford County Sports Live here on Shelbyville Now. And today's show is live and it's brought to you by Hernandez Tree Service, Kincaid Service Company, and First Bank. And I'm Bill Anderson, Coach Kenny Parker, and we have Coach Kennedy and Coach Evans from the Harris Middle School. We're so excited to have you guys here. Thanks y'all being here.
Thank you for having us.
Good to be here.
Hey, big week in high school football, Coach Parker.
Big week for one team. For the other three, I don't think they're real happy right now. But Shelbyville rolled over Marshall County, Marshall County, Lewisburg the other night, pretty convincingly. I know the score was 35-28, but when you got a running game going like that, you're gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, when you get Rocky Chandler going 9 carries for 131 yards, you got Mr. Crenshaw going 8 for 42. And how about Robert Bailey? 14 carries, 196 yards rushing.
I tell you, I don't care what level it is, you have great. The younger it is, the easier it is to get away with having great athletes.
Right.
Because you can out athletes in the youth. Sometimes you can in middle school. At y'all's level, it's still hard to out athlete. But when you get on into high school, it's hard to. You win football games in the trenches.
That's true.
Yes.
You
that's
win
right.
football games in the offense and defense. They don't ever get their names in the paper. They never get talked about unless they've done something wrong. But you win football games offensively and defensively. And, I'm always, you've heard me, you know the way I coached. When you throw it, they used to say 3 things could happen, 2 of them bad. I'm wrong. 4 things can happen and 3 of them's bad. You're either going to be incomplete, it's going to be intercepted, it's going to be completed. The 4th one, it's going to stop the clock. Now we got to play defense longer. So run the ball.
Key stat from that game, guys, on Thursday night, Marshall County, 6 yards net rushing. So when you can run the ball like that and stop the run,
Well, it sounds like to me,
pretty good recipe.
I listened to it on the radio. Sound like defense tackled a little bit better than they did against Siegel, if that's the case.
And pressure on the quarterback, guys. That was one thing very impressive was the blitzing and the quarterback pressure.
Yes, sir. They turned up the pressure on the QB a lot better this week than they did last week against Siegel. And the tackling effort was, like Coach Parker just said, a heck of a lot better this week than it was last week.
Coach Keystat, you just said off the air, Coach Dryden played Marshall County, 7 or 8 times?
Played Marshall County 8 times, and this is the first time in his 8 attempts that he's beat Marshall County.
Well,
Joe, congratulations, Coach.
I'm going to tell you, the tackling looked bad against Siegel because you had a lot of stuff out in space.
Yes, sir.
True.
That's right.
You had a lot of stuff out in space. It's hard to tackle. I don't care how much you work on tackling. When you get kids out in space, they're hard to tackle because with the high school kids, and I assume middle school, they won't try to kill somebody. When you get out in space, you better get a hold of them and bring them down.
Yes, sir.
Because when you try to kill one, when you try to put the hammer on it, you're going to get juked, and that's going to be the ESPN.
Well, let's face another thing. Siegel may be a whole lot better than folks thought. Y'all saw where they beat Laverne 64-0.
Yes, sir.
Hey, who'd you say?
Siegel.
No.
Laverne.
There you go. That's all you got to say. Laverne. They'll get some of those others, but Laverne's not that well. But kudos to Shelbyville. I mean,
I just think Siegel's going to be better at the end of the year. You're going to remember Siegel a little more than we thought.
Siegel's a better football team this year than they've been in the past several years.
I agree with that. It's not they got the quarterback, not just that receiver. The quarterback's good, and they've got some other players. And obviously they were well coached as well. I don't know how well they played defense.
I didn't think Shelbyville the night they played.
I had a chance to win a ball game.
The night they played Siegel, I didn't think it was that bad.
No, they had a chance to win the game.
The tackling wasn't real good. Had the tackling been bad, the Siegel's got some good athletes. They reminded me a lot of Shelbyville, but they got good athletes.
I just know I can't wait for Shelbyville to get in region play. I can't wait.
Well,
agreed.
I don't think, and then I was looking at it, the region play that they're going to be in this year is nowhere near
No, sir.
the competition that it was.
Columbia be the first region game, right? Columbia.
I think so.
And
I think Columbia won Friday night and Tullahoma won Friday night, and the rest of the region. Coffee County's not region.
Not region. That's too big. That's not a region game. Right.
Yeah, Coffee County's
our first region game though is Columbia.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Coffee County.
I think the only 2 teams in the region that won Friday night was Tullahoma and Columbia, and everybody else got beat.
Yeah.
I know Loretta beat Lawrence
Lawrenceburg.
County.
Mhm.
Lawrence
That
County.
won't go over well down there, I
No,
can assure you.
Not at all.
Hey
And
guys, we got a comment here from Mr. Rocky Perez, owner of Fernandez Tree Services. He wants to know about soccer. Well, Rocky, if you can hear me, we're gonna have a soccer coach on here very soon, so don't worry.
yeah, Rocky, we're gonna have soccer. We're just having to put them in. You know, so far we've hit every high school football program. We had an official. We got a middle school, but we're this is a sports of Bedford County. We're gonna have them all in here.
Right,
We
absolutely.
want everybody to
Eventually,
be
everybody will get
recognized.
One other thing, let's move over to Cascade for a minute. Tough for Coach Tyre, 23-15 loss, got himself in a hole, came back in the ball game. Tough night.
Well, they just didn't play very well. They didn't play very well. I don't think they blocked very well, and that's supposed to be the key to their offense this
Right.
year. And like I said, if you don't win it up in the trenches, it's going to be tough. Defensively, they got some problems going on. They're not able to stop a run. They didn't stop the pass, and I think a lot of that's got to do with some alignment. I don't think it's personnel, but you know, they just didn't play well. Got to move the ball a little bit, turned it over, fumbled it, a couple of bad snaps. I'm telling you right now, you guys ever watch me, Coach? I'm sorry if I'm gonna offend you, but I cannot stand that shotgun snap.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand that shotgun snap. I want to be under the center, and because when you're back there in that shotgun snap, everybody can see the ball. That's me, the old wing tee. I took a snap when my quarterback turned his line back to them. Didn't nobody know where the ball was, and I don't like to be able to be seen with a ball, and that's just me.
Move on to community real quick. They had a really tough night at Eagleville,
Well,
54-0.
he informed us
Yep.
a couple of weeks ago that he's got, I think he said 43 players and 35 of them are freshmen
Freshmen,
and sophomores. So this was anticipated. You know, they got the good amount, but they're gonna zone in on him and try to take him away. But it's growing pains down there right now. But 2 years,
Right.
they'll be juniors and seniors. So
And Columbia Academy had a big win against Webb, 47-13, and bad news for Webb again.
yeah, it's the
It's tough.
same old Webb story.
25 kids. You got 30 if you count the 5 8th graders. That's
Second half was their big downfall again.
all right, guys. We're going to take a commercial break here. A message from First Bank, and when we come back, we're going to talk Harris Middle School Golden Eagle football. Right. Welcome back, everybody, to Bedford County Sports Live here on Shelbyville Now. We're fixing to talk a little Harris Middle School football. Guys, I got a chance to come down and watch y'all a couple times because I was a big fan of Todd Bobo's son, Stephen Bobo. So I came out and watched y'all, and he was definitely a special junior high player. But this year, it appears y'all may have a tailback that seems to be kind of special. Can y'all tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, he had a chance to play for us last year, and he played for the youth league instead. I wish we could have had him because he'd be a little further along, but he is one heck of an athlete. He plays defense for us, but I mean he's special as a running back.
What grade is he?
He's 8th grade.
He's 8th grader.
Yes, sir.
Did we introduced our coaches?
I did. First, so let's introduce him again.
All right.
Good, Coach Parker.
This is our head coach now, David Evans, and doing a great job. He was there last year.
Yes, sir.
Chance to be back to back, and defensive coordinator Blake Kennedy. And all I know about Blake, if they don't score, you can't lose. So
That's right.
there you go.
Oh, tailback's name.
Torian Mathis.
Torian Mathis.
Torian Mathis.
That Tullahoma game, he had, according to the stat I saw, was at 6-7 carries for like 170 yards.
Yes. He's the past
Wow.
2 weeks he's been.
He also had a kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah, 70
Wow.
yard kick return touchdown. Past 2 weeks he's been under 15 carries and averaged right at 200 yards
Hey.
a week.
He's good. He's good, but he ain't the team.
No.
Oh, no.
He's good, but he ain't the team.
Hey,
You
I
got
had
some
somebody
other guys out there that are contributing also.
I had
Yeah.
somebody in my ear on the headset.
pound the rock, pound the rock. It was 3rd and 12, and he said, "Run up the middle, get this first down," and we did. I mean, our strength is offensive line. We've got a heck of a running back. Quarterback's a good little runner too. But I'm telling you, that offensive line we have there.
How'd you settle on quarterback? Was that a change you made from where you started to where you're at now, or was that all the way it was all along? Because I was talking to Patrick Hasty about it, and I think maybe that y'all kind of slipped into a quarterback maybe or something.
Well, when I first got here, Stephen Bobo was our quarterback. He was in 7th grade, and he was our quarterback. Robert Bailey for the high school, he was our running back. So we had a 7th grade quarterback, 8th grade running back. Well, that year happened. We went to the championship. That was a good year. The next year, Bobo blossomed. I mean, he was a heck of an athlete, but I mean, he came out of it. He really elevated his game, and he carried our team offensively. And then when he went to the high school, we started looking around, and the kid we had at backup, he's our starting quarterback now, but we were looking at the possibility he may be changing schools. So I looked in the 7th grade hallway. I teach 7th grade, so I'm recruiting like crazy. Hey, you want to play football? Want to play football? Want to play football? And I'm getting everybody we can. And there was a kid never played football before, but he was on the basketball team, so he's pretty athletic. And I'm like, hey, why don't you come out and play some football? Well, I've never played football. Well, why don't you come see if you like it? You're not going to know if you like it if you don't play.
Right.
So he tried out, and he was going to be our quarterback. We worked him in a quarterback all spring, and then the other kid decided he was going to come back. Okay, well now. I worked so much with this guy at quarterback, I'm not just going to kick him off to the side.
Right.
So long story short, we worked everything out, and the quarterback shifted over to receiver, and then the other quarterback that was going to leave decided to come back. He came, and he was our quarterback. So it all kind of worked out the way that we had originally planned it to.
Who are these quarterbacks? These young men you're talking about?
So Jaden Hernandez, he was the basketball guy who came out and played for me, and he's having a great year. He's also a safety for us, and for never playing football before, he'll lay a lick on somebody. He covers really well too.
He's number 12.
Yeah, he's number 12, and he's also our wide receiver on the right side. And then the quarterback, Son Rucker, he was our backup last year under Stephen Bobo. Well, now he's our starter, and he's also played safety for us, and he can do some other stuff as well.
Son's just a 7th grader this year.
Yes,
I'm a little different. When I go out, I'm not like Bill. I don't just watch them running backs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, offensive line coach. You've got a couple of young men that are playing for you. That one of them I coached his dad when I was there watching the Marshall County game. I looked at Adam Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He wears his dad's number 73, and I said, "It can't be your boy because he's a whole lot better than you were." That's your 73 does a very good
phenomenal
job.
Yes,
He's
sir.
probably that night he was your leader up front.
Yes.
And then there was another young man. He didn't get to play that night, number 51, but I was talked about how good he was. I'm not sure what his name is, and I'm not sure what the other Smith boy's name is. What's 73's name?
Pierce Smith.
Pierce Smith.
Yes.
And 51, 51.
51 is Hunter Phelps.
Hunter Phelps. Hunter Phelps is Tabitha Floyd's son. His mother helped the National Junior College home run record at Motlow when she left. She's an athlete, and his uncle played for me at Cascade, and they say he's going to be a pretty good player.
And this is the first year Hunter Phelps has ever played football.
Yes,
He's about 6'2".
We've got a lot of first-year ever players, and
he's going to be a player.
He is. He's got tons of potential. Well, here's a little story about him. Our first play against Tullahoma, he slants the wrong way. They go 60 yards for a touchdown. Every single time they ran that same play, it was just a little dive play. Every single time they ran that play, he did the right thing. They lost 2 yards every single time. So whenever he's doing what he's supposed to do, he's a heck of a player.
And the funny story about Hunter is at the Tullahoma game, he come over there. I'm like, Hunter, I was all up in his face. I'm like, why'd you go the wrong way? Why'd you go the wrong way? He's like, Coach, I went the right way. I'm like, okay, if you went the right way, then why did everybody else go the wrong way? He swore up and down he went the right way, and the rest of the defense is wrong.
Here's what you're going to have to do. Let me tell you one of the best coaching moves I ever made. I had a nose guard, but he didn't know left and right. And we played him nose guard, so he knew where to line up.
Mm-hmm.
And we slanted him left and right, and he would go the wrong way. So we started wrapping his wrists.
Yep.
And we
Yep.
put an L on this one and an R on that one. And every time we would call which way we wanted him slant, we'd see him look down at his wrist to make sure he went the right way.
So yeah, the youth ball always use red tape for right and blue tape for left, and I threatened to tape wrist this time too. So we make sure we get our right and lefts right.
And when those young men get out there and start playing, they lose a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a player and you got instinct, sick 'em, boys.
Yeah.
Sick 'em.
Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit about Harris's defense, and we're also going to talk a little bit about how success that you've had may be helping getting people out. We're going to hear a message from Hernandez Tree Service.
That's it, Hernandez.
Welcome back, everybody, back to Bedford County Sports Live here on Shelbyville Now. And Coach Kenny Parker, Bill Anderson, Coach Candy, Coach Evans. Coach, breeding the success that you've had when you were talking about going to get those kids in the hallways, it's a lot easier to get them to go play when you've had a ton of success, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's funny. Kids in middle school, they want to belong to something.
Right.
And some of them, they want to go out for sports. Some of them want to be in different clubs, stuff like that. That's fine. Some of them, they want to belong to something. They don't know what they want to be part of. They just know they want to belong. And, when we've got a successful team, kids want to be part of something successful. And a lot of these kids, they play backyard football with their friends, but they don't really play for the school. Well, if they're athletic and they can control themselves and, and behave, then I want to give them a shot. And if we can give them something to belong to, then that not only gives them something to belong to, but it also gives the teachers something that we can use to say, hey, you're part of something now. You're representing the team. You need to behave. You need to control how you act.
That's you hit on a couple of points there. Kids enjoy winning.
Yes, sir.
They enjoy being successful. They enjoy being part of something. It's good for them because a lot of these kids need the father figure, need the discipline, need the discipline. It helps your student body. It helps the teachers. It helps them in the long run, and it helps you. And the biggest thing is what you just said there at the end, and I think a lot of our athletes don't get this or hear this enough, is when they step on whatever field they're stepping on, they're wearing the colors of their school. They're representing their school. They're representing the student body. They're representing the community. And they don't just represent because they're winning. They represent by the way they carry themselves onto the field, the way they play in a game. All these little things represent the school, the community, and it's easier to do it when you're winning.
Yes, sir.
I always told the players, you can see your character more, what kind of character you have when you're getting beat than when you are winning. And as a coach, we always say our true character will show when we're down.
Yes, sir.
And I'll commend you guys. I hadn't been to but one game. You've got a young man, number 27. He was a captain the night that I don't know his name. I'm driving a bus, and he rides the bus. He came on one day with his jersey on, and he was a captain the night y'all played. Had a sack last week.
Yes, had a fumble recovery too.
And I told him how proud I was of him. But
well, he stepped up. Kyrell's been one of them kids that he's kind of been buried in the depth chart a little bit because he's missed some during off season. Missed some during summer ball, and we run into a situation where we lost a player against Warren County for a suspension wise from the game before, And I went to him on Friday afternoon. I said, or on Wednesday afternoon, I said, Kyrell, I said, we're working on trying to get Lucas Tyndall back, which was our middle linebacker that was suspended from the Lewisburg game. I said, we're working on trying to get him back. I said, if we don't get him back, I'm going to need you to step up. And he's always been one of them kids. On scout team, he goes in anywhere we need him to play. And I told him we needed him to step up on varsity or whatever.
That's
and
why you win.
He steps up. And, that's always been our motto at Harris. We don't want to rebuild. We just want to reload every year.
There you go.
We just want to reload.
And that's where I commend you all too for, like you said, reaching out in the hallways, asking them to play. I can remember some coaches in Harris that waited on them to come to them, and therefore you wound up with no numbers.
Right.
And your numbers when you first got here, do you remember what they were?
I think we had 30 or 35 my first year.
How many you got now?
We're right at 40.
Right at 40 now. We had about 60 come out in the spring. And of course, that's always going to whittle down.
Right.
And the thing is, football is not for everybody.
It's not.
And we don't make fun of anybody for quitting football because, like I said, it's not for everybody. But we do want to give them a chance. And there's a lot of kids. They said that they didn't really know if they wanted to play. I said, hey, give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't have to stay. But if you do like it, you found something.
That's right.
You hear a lot. Bill likes to bring this up a whole lot. Numbers. Well, you can have a whole lot of numbers, but if you ain't got enough coaches, you can't coach them. How many coaches you got? Because that's where you can have 40 kids. If you got 3 coaches, you can't coach all 40 of them.
Well, this year we've got 5 coaches. Last year we had 3, and the year before that we had, I think we had 5 also. But Coach Blake and I, we're the only coaches that have been consistently coaches all the way through. Last year we had another guy. He was more of a videographer, and he kind of helped around with practice. But this year he's actually getting to coach a little bit. So we've got 5 coaches, 2 offensive line coaches, and that helps a lot because any big kid that's not athletic, they're going to be a lineman. Well, you can be big and not get any attention, and then you're still just a big kid. But now with 2 line coaches over there, everybody's getting a little bit of attention. Everybody's getting coached up, and now we had a lineman go down, and now we got somebody that can go in. And we're not really losing anything in those top 10, because we've got 2 complete offensive lines that we can just rotate in and out.
Now, I got you here, and if I don't ask this one question, I'm gonna get busted in church next Sunday. Because Reed Dickens is in my Sunday school class. I'm telling you, a great young man.
Yes, sir.
I watched him the other day. He's a blocker.
Now, let me tell you the difference, the story behind Reed. So, Reed's sixth grade and 7th grade year, he played offensive guard.
I know he did. Yeah.
Well, 6th grade year, he was a center.
Yeah, he played center 6th grade year, and he played right guard last year.
Started last year as a guard.
As a guard.
Yeah. And he was the only returning starter we had coming back to this year's team. But since he wasn't actually playing guard, we didn't have any starters coming back.
He shows up in spring ball, and I'm like, where did Reed Dickens go?
Yes.
This ain't Reed Dickens.
He got tall and skinny.
He shot up. He
yes.
slimmed up, and I was like, and then he's having trouble finding our H. He's our like our fullback in the old systems. And I told Coach David, I said, just put him at H, let him block. I said, we'll fill the hole in up front. And the other offensive line coach he's talking about, when this name come up on our list of possible coaches wanting to come in, I was like, I called David, and I called Chris King, which is our athletic director. I said, this kid's a must hire. It's Steven Sims. He's Shelbyville alumni. He played at Harris. He's been graduated 2 years, so he played in this same system we're coaching. And I said he's a must. We got to have him. I want alumni. He's been in this system. He knows how to coach this system. And, I've always been the defensive coordinator, O-line, D-line guy. I'm like, get him in here. He can help me for a little while. And then once I feel like we can turn the reins over to him, we can just let him have just the line. And, when David come over as the head coach, he's always been an offensive line guy. And he had a hard time turning the offensive line over to me. And, offensive line's always been our babies, and it's hard to just turn it over to just anybody.
Well, talk to us about defense. We haven't hit the defense yet. What do we do on defense at Harris Middle School?
Well, as far defense and offense, when I first got to Harris, I wanted some continuity because I've been to a lot of schools where the youth guys do their thing, middle school does their thing, high school does their thing. The last school I was at, I went and talked to the high school staff, and I said, hey, I want to put in your base offense, your base defense. And he said, you guys are doing fine. You coach them at your level. We'll coach them up at our level. Well, when I got to Harris, I made it a point to go over to the high school coaches and ask them. I said, look, I want my guys to be prepared when they get to you. I want to run your base offense, your base defense. You tell me what you want, what's your bread and butter. We're going to put that in, and we're going to make sure they can do that when they get to you. That way they have a good base. They're not learning a whole new system, and we can help you out. So we put in their base offense and their base defense. They run a 3-4, we run a 3-4. All the same blitzes that we run is exactly what they run. The way we do it is the way they do it. So
terminology and all.
The same names, same formation, same everything. We use the same stuff that they use. So whenever we got that started, then we've seen a lot of the guys that are going over to the high school. Nate Zimmerman's one of them. He texted me over the offseason. He said, Coach, thank you for what you did for us. I said, for what? Yeah. And he said, well, I'm so far ahead of all these other guys that didn't go through this. And he was numbered for the varsity. So, I mean,
linebacker.
Yeah, for inside linebacker. So what we're doing is actually having a little bit of effect for what, when they get to the high school. But for what we're doing, we try to run the base stuff for the high school, and we've got to adjust our personality to it.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be able to be exact,
right?
But the big key is you got to be doing it. You wouldn't be successful.
Right.
It's the fundamentals.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fundamental. I don't care what offense, what defense you run. It's blocking and tackling and securing the football.
Yes. Yes.
It's those three things.
Yep.
And then kicking game's not bad either.
Well, in the last 2 years, we had a real weapon as a kicker. He was a soccer player, and it was a high school kicker's little brother, Betzelberger. Mm-hmm. And we had 6 onside kicks we could do at any time. And we had 6 other kicks. So we had 12 kicks. As soon as he lined up, raised his hand, they blew the whistle. I could call 12 different kicks, and he could execute every single one of them.
Wow.
Now we have 2 kicks.
That's fine.
and I mean, they work. And I'm showing it's Pierce Smith that's our kicker.
2 better than none.
And I'm showing him a couple different ways he can set the ball up to get a real hard spin. It looks like we're kicking onside kicks every time. We're really not. I'm trying to get a hard spin so it rolls across the ground because they're hard to handle. If it gets past the first line, that's fine. If it gets past the second line, that's fine. But they're not going to pick it up, and they're not going to run it all the way back against us. And, one of our problems is, tackling in space. Now, we work on our footwork. We work on breaking down. We work on wrapping up. But when it comes down to it, kids are kids. And sometimes they see the NFL guys try to blow people up, and they won't break down. So the best thing to do, make sure they don't even get a return.
And you play defense.
And we can play defense, and we're pretty good at it. Now, last year we had a special team, and we allowed 14 points the entire season on varsity.
Back-to-back drives in one game.
Yeah. Now, we allowed, about a touchdown a game, but that's JV losing contain or something like that. But as far as varsity, like in game that actually matters time, we gave up 2 touchdowns, and it was to Warren County. And at the time, they were the second best team in the conference. And it was a dogfight that game. But other than that, I mean, when I first got here, I was a head coach, offense coordinator, defense coordinator, and special teams coordinator. And eventually I handed over defense coordinator to him, and special teams coordinator is basically just don't let them return the ball. And that takes a lot off my plate.
People that never coach football think it's easy. People that never coach football. When I took over the program at Cascade, I was a head coach. And my brother was my assistant. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
People don't realize what all goes into coaching football.
Well, they just see the game.
They just see the game.
They don't see the practice. I mean, they see practices, but they don't see what happens in that field house or locker room after practice.
And most of the time, they don't see the game.
No.
They watch the ball.
Right.
They watch the ball.
You're
There's
exactly
more that happens in a game of football than just the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I've told your good. I hadn't told yours, but I told my running backs, you go in there and beat your chest and you think you all this and that. I'm going to tell the offensive line not to block for you.
Yep.
So we're going to hand you the ball and don't let them block.
Yes, sir.
And then you get hit in the mouth in the backfield. I don't want you to come back here hollering. All right? You better pat those guys up front.
That's right.
Because it takes you all.
How's the schedule look? What's coming up next for you guys?
Well,
E.O. Kaufman Tuesday
we've
night.
got E.O. Kaufman Tuesday night.
Lawrenceburg, right?
Is that
Lawrenceburg.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they've changed our whole conference up this year. We've got an East and a West division.
Yep.
So they left Tullahoma, Franklin North, Warren County, and
Coffee County
in there together. And then
the
we're
east.
in there, we're in the east, and then we're in the west with Lewisburg, E.O. Kaufman, and Bridgeforth, which is out of Pulaski.
Right.
So
Bridgeforth, that used to be a powerhouse.
Now,
well,
do they-
Bridgeforth,
they're
they're
pretty
pretty
good
good
this
this
I
year.
bet they
too.
are.
So your record, is it overall or is it just your conference in order to meet? I'm sure you're going to have a East-West conference championship game. So is it?
Well, they're actually going to have a conference championship game, and then the playoff games is going to be East number 1 versus West number 2, and then West number 1 versus East number 2.
And
It's
then
like
you'll
the
have a
East
second
hosts-
game.
The East hosts everything this year. West hosts everything next year.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing: if the 2 West teams beat the 2 East teams, then it would be 2 West teams in the championship game at an East side.
Okay, so you won't go back.
Right.
No,
Right.
Make it complicated.
Yeah.
That's it. But like we always say, take care of who's in front of us. So
That's
we'll
right.
let
Now,
everything
where's
else
your
go
game
their
at
way.
this? Are you playing this week during the horse
Yeah,
show?
go
This
to
horse show?
Kaufman,
yes, sir. Tuesday we play at E.O. Kaufman in
Yeah.
Lawrenceburg.
and it's
Now-
played at Lawrence County High School.
Now, let me ask you this, because we asked, what's it like practicing? Well, your horse show practice, you won't have but one, will you? Monday?
Well, we'll
We'll
practice
practice
Thursday,
that. We'll practice Monday for the Kaufman game, and then we're going to give them Wednesday off because it's such a long travel,
Mhm.
and we're going to give them Wednesday off. Then we're going to practice on Thursday, and we got to get ready for Coffee County coming up the next week. But focused on Kaufman because they haven't
Right.
won a game yet, but they're still a tough team.
Yeah.
And-
When you take one for granted, that's
Yeah.
when you throw one in the right
Well,
hand
it's always.
column.
I mean,
Well,
and I
they-
know this Kaufman team, the 8th grade group they graduated this last season. They hadn't lost a game in 4 years.
Wow.
So, and I mean, we've seen film on them already, and I mean, their record, they're a lot better than their record shows.
Yeah, they've had stuff happen. It's just bad luck, like the kid's mashing the ball down the other team's throat, and then he fumbles. Well, somebody randomly picks it up, takes it back for a touchdown. They're
Mhm.
down 7-0. Little stuff like that could have gone either
Right.
way.
Mhm.
It seems to be going against them. Well, at some point, that luck's going to change, and if we don't get prepared for them, then that luck's going to change against us, and I don't want that. So,
That's right.
Absolutely.
so we're going
not.
to be prepared for them.
Bill, I believe it's
We're
time
gonna take
for
us a
first
break.
bank.
Let's hear from First Bank. We'll be back in just a minute.
One.
Welcome back, everybody, to Shelbyville Sports Now. Shelbyville Sports Live on Shelbyville Now. And we are been talking a little high school, a little junior high football.
Middle school.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Back to high school this coming week. We everybody knows we got the horse show going on,
Right.
but we still got football going on.
We do.
Okay, Thursday night, Cascade will be at home against Huntland. Cascade and Huntland play Thursday night. I just heard from Coach Jake just a second ago. He said Isaac Choppa had 15 tackles last week, and Logan Morton had 11 solo tackles. So it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And he had a receiver, Saban Burris, had 128 yards receiving and a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Had a running back, Sawyer Lovern, rushed for 75 yards and a touchdown. But Thursday night, Cascade plays host to Huntland. Then Friday night, hey, we're all at home this week. We're all at home this week. So if you don't want to go to the horse show, are y'all at home Tuesday night?
No,
No, they're on the road.
They
Okay.
go to Lawrenceburg.
So Shelbyville's at home against Coffee County on Friday night. Coffee County, both teams 1-1. Non-region, I believe.
It is.
I believe no, they're not all non-region. Cascade and Huntland are both
That's a
0-2.
region game, isn't it?
That's a non-region
It
game.
is.
Huntland's 1A. Community host Forest Friday night. That's a region game at Forest. Forest coming off a 15-14
They beat
win
Cornersville.
over Cornersville last week. And then Webb. Oh, my gosh. Webb plays FRA this Friday at FRA. And FRA's 2-0, and they beat Franklin in the opening week 47-21. So Webb's.
Let me give you two
Webb's
scores,
got it.
Coach Parker, see if it surprised you. Moore County, Fayetteville, 34-14. It
No.
didn't surprise me one bit.
No, I told you,
It shocked some
Moore
other
County's
people.
for real.
The other
Moore
one
County's for real.
was Pearl Cone beating CPA. Did that shock any of you
Yes.
guys?
Well,
Yeah.
no,
Now, come on, that shocked
A little
me.
bit.
no, not when you
Little bit.
see if you go back and look at the history of those two games. Go back. I mean, that game. You go back and look at the history of the Pearl Cone CPA game. They've been playing since I played. We played
Big
CPA.
difference in public school and recruited private school kids.
Well, and there's
And the public school
Hey.
kids won out.
hey, Pearl Cone can play.
Oh, sure they can.
Pearl Cone can play. They
When
got
have they
some
not
athletes.
been able to?
Huh?
When have they
yeah,
not been?
when
right?
have they? When have they not? You know, they're always pretty good. So, hey, now we'll talk a little bit about college ball. You said Vanderbilt won last night. I stayed up late to watch that game. We had a
It
big
was delayed because of the storms for
delay
about an hour and a half
before
or
the
so.
storms, but they had trouble running the football.
They did have trouble running the
Golly.
football.
But they hung on to win by touchdown over Hawaii.
Had a kick return that was big.
Had a big kick return,
was
big
big,
interception
big
at
ball
the
game.
end of the game to seal it.
Of course, they beat
I
Hawaii
think
handily
their
last year.
score, I think their score was 42-35.
It's a one possession game.
It was a one possession. It was a one touchdown game. And then this week, hey, we get it going. Tennessee's in Nashville.
Playing Virginia.
They're going to play Virginia. MTSU is they're going to Alabama. Predictions. Well, Tennessee's playing Virginia. They ain't no prediction to that.
No, there's really not. That's not going to be close.
That ain't even a close game.
I think Tennessee.
What about
I
it,
think
David?
Tennessee hangs 50 on them.
Huh? How not close?
Tennessee puts 50 on them.
Tennessee to how much they won't score.
Yeah.
How bad they won't win.
Just how quick Tennessee wants to get Nico in the games. Wow, I look at it.
And yeah, and I'm not sure who will. I'm not sure if Vanderbilt's playing, but you know, Alabama, MTSU could be a close ball game.
Oh,
Bill.
yeah, it could be.
Huh?
Florida State and LSU would be the big ball game
that'll
in
be a
college
big ball
football
game.
next weekend because I think
That'll be-
LSU's missing their best kid.
You
And
got Clemson and Duke Monday night too. That they're
That's
saying
true.
it's supposed
And
to be a
then,
good game.
Utah, is it Utah and Florida?
Utah and Florida. Florida goes to Utah
They go to
Saturday night.
Utah.
I
So-
think Florida will struggle there.
So
I do
we
too. I
got
think they
we
will.
got we've
Yeah,
got some
I'll take
good,
Utah.
we got some good stuff coming up, and then
Last year.
I don't know how much time we got left, David. 5 minutes. Let's talk about the Titans.
All right, let's do it.
They better find an offensive line.
It was pretty bad,
Yes, sir.
wasn't it? And I'll
They
tell you the
better
other thing
find
that
an
added to
offensive
it.
line.
The first 3 or 4 series,
All right.
I sort of thought I was in a bit of a bind because I thought we had Downing back as offensive coordinator about the first 3 drives.
I'm gonna
You
let
play
you.
Tannehill for what? To hand it off 3 times?
I'm gonna let you catch your breath right now. We need to hear from the Hernandez Tree Service, and you catch your breath.
I will.
And I want some more of this Titans inside
We'll do it.
scoop.
I got some. Welcome back, everybody, to Bedford County Sports Live here on Shelbyville Now. Coach Kenny Parker with us. Got Coach Evans and Coach Kennedy, and I'm Bill Anderson. And we're talking a little bit of Tennessee Titans right here. Coach, you're not impressed with our offensive line?
I'm telling you. Hey, the rest of their team, offense, I like their receivers. Who don't like their running backs? They got more than one running back.
Hey, this Spears is
They
good.
got one running back. They got a cap, and I don't know. I think up this Chestnut, is that what his name?
He's good
He
too.
can play quarterback. You know, I've always said I think Tannehill can play. He just ain't had the stuff to go with him. Malik's looked good.
Yeah, he's
I
improved
was really impressed with their defense the other night,
with a bunch of starters missing.
but I'm telling
To me,
you,
the right tackle job belongs to, is it Murray or Murphy? Has
Murray,
outplayed
yeah.
Hubbard. It's not even close.
here's my
That's
thing.
your guy.
Here's what we talk about this all the time. Well, a lot. let's talk at the Titans offensive line. All right. Got the good draft pick. He's going to be good.
He's going to be good.
He's going to be good. He's left guard.
Yep.
Their left tackle. Could he start on any other team in the NFL?
First round draft pick in 2019. The answer is no.
Their center. Great young man.
The
Played
undersized.
well.
The undersized. But he's played all right. Aaron
Brewer. Would he play that for any other team in the NFL?
Probably not.
Their guard? No.
Good utility guy. Played guard at San Francisco.
Is he a starter?
No.
Their right tackle?
No. Now, we got a right tackle that's a starter.
Yeah, he'll be
but
about
he's
6 weeks
suspended for
out.
6 games.
I agree.
Because he gambled
But
on a
other
sport
than,
that wasn't football.
other than
It's
that,
perfectly
and
legal
I- and
with the
I
NFL
think-
endorses.
I think they'll be okay. They got to find some. They got to find some offensive linemen, and I think you'll see their next couple of drafts. They're going to be, and
Well, we've
Their
been drafting
offen-
them for years.
their
We
offensive
just been
line.
missing on 'em.
Their offensive line problem started the year they got the boy from Georgia, and he busted. After that, it's hurt.
Tell you another one that goes back a little farther was Chance Warmer was taken in the top 10. That was a blown pick, too.
Yeah,
Out of Alabama,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
he
Your
had some
boys.
good years.
Where?
Tennessee.
No, he
But-
didn't. He didn't last but a year or two. He
And
was nowhere.
now, let me tell you
I don't
this.
think he made it 5 years in the league, which shocked me because everybody thought he would be like this all-pro guard, and he was not.
He wasn't. And that's the thing I was going to say. I said he had some good years. He did.
At
But
Alabama.
when he finished playing at Tennessee, who picked him up?
Somebody didn't. He lasted a year or
He
two.
did.
That's it. I think he had a
So-
problem with weight. If you can't
And
control your weight,
he was built for the college game and not the pro game. Okay, but I think Tennessee's going to be better than a lot of people
I still think
going
they're
to
going to
give
win
them
the
credit
division.
for.
I think-
I still think they're going to win the
I
division.
I
they
think
got a
defense.
chance.
I think defense is going to keep them in a lot of
If
games.
that defense, if they can stay healthy, their defense is going to be for real.
Now,
That
you get
that
Burks
linebacker
healthy,
core-
and you got Hopkins.
That linebacker core.
Oh yeah,
that,
I'm
that
sure-
Titans got right now is
Aaron-
probably
Aaron
one of the
Parker.
best in the league.
Is he?
Aaron-
Come
Aaron
on.
Parker is tracking us. Okay, Warmack went to the Eagles after the Titans.
it lasted what, Aaron, a year or two? Let's see if
Now,
respond to us because I don't think it was long.
Aaron's in Green Bay. They're going to shock some people. They're going to shock some people. Just telling you right now. They don't have offensive line problem.
Nope.
They don't have offensive line problem. They don't have defensive line problem.
But they played a whole lot tougher division than the Titans do.
Aaron
Uh,
Parker says maybe a season.
Maybe a season. I think that was it. When he was done.
but I think they're going to surprise.
That's an
some
interesting
people.
division though, because I think Detroit is going to be tough. I love their head coach.
I think
tough
it's-
guy.
I think it's between Detroit and Green Bay.
I
really
think the
do.
Bears are going to be better than people.
Yeah,
get.
they may be
I think
better,
they're
but
gonna
they
be
still
better.
got a long way to go.
And don't count the Vikings out. They
Well,
always seem to win games.
The Vikings won. They won like 7
Mhm.
games last year, 3 points or less. You're not. Those odds of that happening again
Right.
aren't going to be.
And 2 of them was major comebacks.
Yes.
When you
20
got
and then
Justin
20
Jefferson,
points
you can
better.
do
And,
that.
and
That's
here's the deal with the Vikings, and they may beat whatever else. They had a winning record last year. They were like,
13-3.
all right. You look at their overall points.
Didn't watch the playoffs. What happened?
Look at their overall points, the points that they scored and the points that they give up. They gave up more points than they scored. So they won close ball games. And when they got beat, they got beat.
Because defensively, they're not very good.
Yeah. All
I
right.
think that's where you see Detroit's pretty good on both sides of the ball. And they're a hard-nosed football team.
I
the
agree.
Detroit
I'm going to
Lions.
that game. I'll
Are
be
you going to
there.
that one?
Yes,
That's
sir.
a good one.
Yes, sir. Well, Bill,
What time of year are you going?
the first game is the Thursday night game. It's early in September, I believe. It's September
Good. You're not going in the
18th.
cold weather this time.
I'm going cold weather.
Are you going cold weather too?
Yes, sir.
Nothing bothers me.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Thank you guys for coming
guys,
on.
thank
Thank
you.
This
y'all.
was awesome.
Thank y'all
Thank
for
you.
having us. Appreciate
Awesome.
it. Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Keep
it.
winning, Bill.
And it's just, I mean, championship. Y'all won the championship last year. This would be 2 in a row.
Well, our first year, we lost the championship game.
Game.
That's our only game we've lost since we've been together here.
Wow.
Undefeated last year, won a championship. So far, undefeated this year, and hopefully
keep it
we're
rolling.
going to keep it rolling.
And if you ain't had a chance to come out and see us, we'll be back at home September 5th against Coffee County. So
There you
that'll
go.
be
And it's up here at the high school,
it'll be
right?
at the high school, September 5th.
All right.
That's our last time.
Y'all
we
have,
go to
and
the-
I've noticed doing Coach Dryden's show, I do it during y'all's game normally, but the crowd y'all seem to have is really good up there this year,
Yes,
especially at homecoming against Warren County. Y'all had a really nice crowd.
yes. September 5th is 8th grade night, so come out and support 8th graders.
And who we playing that night?
Coffee
Coffee
County.
County.
Coffee County. Everybody
Yes,
get
sir.
out and support on September the 5th.
Ball games this week.
We got
Hey.
coaching shows coming up with Coach Tyre. We're going to have Coach Dryden's show, and we're also going to have Coach Crooms' show. So we'll do it boom, boom, boom this week. And we got a lot of football, and we're going back to Saturdays, David, next week.
Nope.
Sundays
Sunday
one more
again.
time.
Yeah, Sunday horse show.
Okay, because the horse show. One more time on Sundays.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not going to be here, so y'all can do 4 if you want to. I'm going on a fishing trip. I have had planned to Del Hollow Lake, so I'm going to be gone next Sunday. But I've got somebody filling in for me. Coach
Who?
Shane Young.
Who?
Coach Young.
All right. Well,
He's going to fill in for me. He'll be fine.
He ain't got much to do. He ain't got much to fill in for, does he?
He was looking forward to it. He goes, I want to do that. And I said, well,
All
Coach,
right.
you fill in for me. So Coach
All
Young's
right.
going to fill in for
Well,
me next Sunday.
let's thank our sponsors
Absolutely.
tonight
We got
now,
First
Bill.
Bank, and we've got Hernandez Tree Services, Kincaid Service Company, and
Hey,
thank guys.
and Duke Cannon is always smoking gun.
Well, the question is, what kind of soap is that?
That's a bad dude, son. Let me tell you.
You watch David Grimace every time you say
Yeah,
it.
David likes it.
Eat Grimace.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And,
We'll see y'all next week.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you on the coach's show.